The film starts and unfolds from the events of Spider-Man: Far From Home in 2019. Just before Mysterio's death, he uploads a video stating that he is about to be killed by Spider-Man. Furthermore, he also reveals to the public that Spider-Man's true identity is Peter Parker. Until finally, the entire community believes the hoax that Spider-Man is a murderer. Before the situation becomes even more chaotic, Peter saves MJ and takes her to Aunt May's apartment. However, it didn't take long for the media and the police to discover Peter's whereabouts. Eventually, Peter had to surrender himself to the police, and the same went for Aunt May, Happy, and Peter's friends, who were also taken in for questioning. The story continues when Peter's lawyer brings good news that the public accusations of Peter's crimes are not sufficient to convict him. Meanwhile, the local media, the Daily Bugle, worsens the situation by reporting to the public that Spider-Man is a murderer. For their safety, they decide to move to Happy's residence. The next day, Peter returns to school with MJ and Ned, but it appears to be crowded with numerous journalists eager to cover Peter. The three of them discuss their plans after graduating from high school. Because it turns out, they all share the same desire to enter MIT. Long story short, when they all receive acceptance letters from MIT, hoping to have been accepted, they find out that none of them has been accepted due to Peter's recent major issues. This greatly affects MJ and Ned, who have become close friends of Peter. Instantly, they become saddened, but Peter accidentally sees a wizard puppet, which reminds him of Doctor Strange. Not long after, Peter meets Doctor Strange, who is a powerful sorcerer. Peter explains his reasons for meeting Doctor Strange, to ask for help so that Doctor Strange is willing to assist him in creating a magical spell to reverse time before Peter's identity as Spider-Man was revealed to the public. Because the issues he is currently facing are causing problems for people he knows. Unfortunately, Doctor Strange cannot help us because he no longer has the Time Stone. However, he recalls Wong's words that if he knows a spell to assist Peter without having to turn back time, it is by making everyone forget, including Aunt May and his friends, which would leave them permanently injured if Peter is Spider-Man. Finally, Doctor Strange performs the ritual with his magical spell. However, Peter repeatedly requests to alter the spell so that Aunt May and his friends can still remember him, ultimately causing the parameters of the spell to become damaged. This could lead to a major disaster, as it might open gateways to other universes. Fortunately, Doctor Strange manages to close them again, emphasizing the danger of what Peter was attempting. The story continues, and finally, Peter goes to meet the MIT dean to convince them that MJ and Ned have no connection with Peter's current issues, and both of them deserve to be accepted into MIT. At the same time, Dr. Octopus suddenly appears, who is an enemy from the Spider-Man 2 movie featuring Tobey. Shortly after, their fight ensues, and it becomes evident that Peter is struggling against Dr. Octopus. The nanotechnology device was taken from Peter, enhancing the strength of Doc Ock's tentacles. However, Dr. Octopus is surprised to find out that the Spider-Man he's fighting is not the Peter Parker he knows. Due to the nanotechnology that shifted, Peter becomes capable of taking over and controlling Dr. Octopus's tentacles by just moving his hands. In the midst of their battle, Green Goblin suddenly appears. He is Spider-Man's first enemy in the Spider-Man 1 movie featuring Tobey. When he attempts to attack Peter, Peter immediately enters another dimension through Doctor Strange's spell. Doctor Strange says that they all came because of the consequences of Peter's actions that damaged Doctor Strange's spell earlier. As a result, anyone who knows Peter as Spider-Man would come, causing many portals from other universes to open. This, of course, could lead to extraordinary chaos. Doctor Strange intends to rectify the situation by capturing the other enemies of Spider-Man to return them to their respective universes. Before the situation got even more chaotic, Peter, along with MJ and Ned, was ready to assist Doctor Strange in finding other Spider-Man enemies. They all worked in an underground facility, and Ned obtained information about the whereabouts of other Spider-Man enemies. Peter immediately went to the location, discovering that it was Electro charging himself with electrical energy. Peter tried to stop Electro by capturing him, leading to a confrontation. Suddenly, Flint Marko, or Sandman, appeared to assist Peter after the fight. Peter explained that he was not the Peter from their universe, and their arrival was Peter's mistake. Eventually, Peter managed to bring both of them and restrain them in a location. While Peter finally located Norman Osborn, who had become Green Goblin, and invited him to a place where other Spider-Man enemies were being held. Then Doctor Strange arrives, ready to perform the spell ritual with his magic box to return them to their respective universes. However, Sandman mentions that if they are returned to their own universes, Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin are already dead. Upon hearing this, Peter disagrees with Doctor Strange's intention to return them all, as some of them would die in his world. However, Doctor Strange insists that it's their destiny. Disagreeing, Peter thwarts the plan and seizes Doctor Strange's spell box, taking off with it. Using his mirror dimension magic, Doctor Strange attempts to retrieve the box from Peter, causing Peter's soul to temporarily leave his body. Nevertheless, Peter manages to escape Doctor Strange. Unwilling to give up, Doctor Strange continues to pursue Peter with his mirror dimension spell, making it difficult for Peter. Peter states that Doctor Strange must provide them with a second chance to live in their respective universes, and he convinces Doctor Strange that he can help them all. To cut the story short, the mirror spell was shattered, and Peter successfully escaped with the magic box by trapping Doctor Strange there. Upon returning, Peter intended to help and fix them all by giving them a second chance so that when they went back to their respective universities, they could still live. They all agreed with Peter's plan, and Peter brought them all into Happy's house, equipped with various advanced technologies. Peter began researching and designing tools to fix Dr. Octopus, and indeed, the device successfully restored Dr. Octopus to a better and normal state. However, Peter suddenly sensed an ominous feeling because Norman Osborn, through his darker side, disagreed with Peter's plan to fix them. What he possessed within himself was a gift, and Osborn started attacking Peter, leading to a battle between the two. Meanwhile, Aunt May, witnessing Peter in a distressed state, promptly injected a serum into Osborn. However, it proved ineffective and immediately triggered Osborn's rage. His glider swiftly soared, hitting Aunt May, and he departed abruptly, causing the place to explode. From that incident, Aunt May lost her life there, and it was evident that Peter felt profoundly saddened. Meanwhile, MJ and Ned learned about Aunt May's situation and unintentionally managed to open a portal to another dimension using Doctor Strange's ring. There, MJ tried to meet the grieving Peter, but Ned accidentally opened a portal to a different universe. To their surprise, they encountered Peter from the Andrew Garfield version. Instantly, MJ and Ned felt confused as the man they met claimed to be Peter in Spider-Man. Andrew's Peter tried to convince them that he is indeed Spider-Man. Ned repeated his mantra to find Peter again, but once more, they encountered Peter Parker from the Tobey Maguire version. This only added to their confusion until they finally realized that there were actually two other Spider-Men from different universes. In short, they all find Peter Tom sitting in sorrow over Aunt May's death, and there, Peter Andrew and Peter Tobey express their condolences for Aunt May's death. Peter Tom is surprised to discover that there are other Spider-Men from different universes. Eventually, the three of them agree to create a plan by developing a serum to cure their enemies from their dark sides. Peter Tom conducts a live broadcast through the local media, the Daily Bugle, revealing his current location as part of the plan to lure their enemies to come and confront him, intending to break their magic bond. With the healing serum they had created, the three of them planned to cure their enemies. However, shortly after, Electro with his electrical power emerged, attacking Peter as he targeted the magic box. Soon after, the Lizard and Sandman appeared, joining the attack on the Spider-Men to destroy the magic box. Their plan to heal the enemies turned out to be not as easy as they imagined, but with various strategies they employed, Peter Tobey managed to successfully heal Sandman, turning him back into a human. At the same time, Peter Andrew also succeeded in curing the Lizard, transforming him back into Dr. Connors, whom he knew. However, they seemed to face some difficulty against Electro, but in an instant, Dr. Octopus appeared to help Spider-Man stop Electro from his electrical power. In short, as they all returned to normal without any powers, Dr. Strange came back to retrieve his magic box. He was impressed with Peter's plan, which had successfully cured his enemies. However, once again, Green Goblin appeared. He instantly threw and took the magic box from Doctor Strange, then immediately exploded the magic box, causing the spell inside it to open a portal to another universe. Meanwhile, Peter Tompool is trying to fight Goblin, but when Peter Tom has the chance to kill Green Goblin using the glider, Peter Tobey instantly prevents him because Peter Tom promised to heal Green Goblin, not to kill him. Unexpectedly, Green Goblin instead stabs Peter Tobey.
Peter Andrew, witnessing the event, immediately throws a healing serum to Peter Tom, which he promptly injects into Green Goblin.
Surprisingly, the serum successfully awakens Norman Osborn from his dark side that had been within him all this time. Meanwhile, fortunately, Peter Tobey manages to regain consciousness and says that he is okay. However, on the other side, due to the destruction of the magic box, Doctor Strange tries to close the portal that has opened to another universe to include them in his world. But Doctor Strange says he can no longer handle it. Peter Tom suggests an idea to end all of this quickly by asking Doctor Strange to use another magic spell. Peter wants everyone who knows him as Spider-Man and everyone who knows Peter Parker to forget him forever. However, Doctor Strange tries to convince Peter about the consequences because many people, including MJ and Ned, will forget Peter, and there is no other choice.
Reluctantly, Peter agrees to take the risk.
Before that happened, he thanked Peter Tobey and Peter Andrew because so far both of them had helped Peter Tom a lot. Before parting ways, they all hugged each other and said goodbye to return to their respective universities. Similarly, MJ and Ned smartly said that soon they would forget Peter forever, as if Peter Parker had never been in their lives. This was the best way to save their world from the arrival of creatures from other universes.
Hearing this, MJ and Iney also felt very sad that they had to forget Peter forever.
But Peter promised that when all of this was over, he would meet MJ and Iney and tell them again about everything that had happened. Finally, when Doctor Strange succeeded with his magic spell, they all instantly disappeared and returned to their respective universities. At the end of the film, it seemed that Doctor Strange's magic spell was successful because at that moment Spider-Man's identity had not yet been revealed, which meant that Peter had been forgotten by everyone.
When he meets MJ and Net in hopes that they still remember Peter, it is very unfortunate that MJ and Net no longer recognize Peter at all.
Similarly, when Pinter visits Aunt May's grave, there he meets Happy, Aunt May's boyfriend, and Happy doesn't recognize Peter at all. In the end, Peter has to go back to living his life as Spider-Man without anyone knowing him, and the film ends. And the movie ended here.